Hello world, welcome to yet another episode from Netmadan Tech Academy. Today we are gonna look into list comprehensions in Python. What is list comprehension and when do we use it? How do we use it? Let's say I want to make a list and I want to fill it with numbers in a particular pattern. Let's say till 100. Now, there are a few different ways of doing it. For example, I can do it with a loop for I in range 100, and then I can make my list here as an empty list, and then I can simply do append I. This will give me a list. If we print L, we will see that it has from 0 to 99. That is one way to do it. So easier way or a more simpler way, or how do I put it, in a single line of code, what can be done is to assign the values when we declare the list itself. We want to put the values in is I, and we know the range is going to be till 100. So if we do this, we will get the same output as before. So what we have done is we have basically split it into the value and the range. So the general pattern for list comprehension is we put the variable name, we open the list, and then we specify the value that we want to put, and then the loop or the range there. Let's try one more with a similar pattern. I can simply do L starts, what I want is I, and then I want to go from the range -10 till +10, and I want to step by 2. So now if I print L, I'll get from -10 to 8. If I want +10 too, I just have to increase this value by 1. Then I'll get from -10 to 10, and I'm always stepping by 2. So the same concept of range, but used inside list comprehension. What are the other flavors of it? Let's say I want to make a list and I want to fill it with alphabets now. A, B, C, and so on. What is the easiest way for me? The easiest way for me would be to use the CHR function. What does CHR do? CHR converts the ASCII value to a alphabet. So what does that mean? Let's say if I print CHR value of 97, I'll get A because the ASCII value of 97 is A. So all I have to do now is make a list, and the value that I want is CHR of I, and the range that I want is from 97 till the total number of alphabets. And now let's print L and see if it works. We have to go one extra. So we get a list from A to Z. Awesome. If we just want capital letters, we just have to start from 65 and stop at the right point, like at the capital Z point itself. If we stop, then we will get the capital letters. If you refer to the ASCII chart, you will get the ASCII value of all the characters. The opposite of the CHR function is the ORD function, which will convert the character to value. For example, I want to know what is the value of capital Z. Then I can simply call the ORD function, and then it will tell me the value is 90. So if I start from 65, which is capital A, and go till 91, that will give me a list of all the capital alphabets. Perfect, good. And how else can I use the list comprehension? I can even add conditions into my list comprehension. For example, let's consider a loop like this. I have for I in range, and then into 20, and I have one if statement where I check I mod 2 is 0, and then I say, or I rather put this value in the list by doing append. I say I convert the number into a string, and then I add is even. In the else part, I do the same, but I change it to is odd. So basically the condition is to check if the number is even or odd. So what do we get here? We get 10 is even, 11 is odd, and so on. How can I put all of this into a single list comprehension? If we remember the pattern is variable, value, loop. And in here, we can also add a if condition. If condition. So let's say the value that we are interested in is str is even, right? So that's the value. If what is our condition? I mod 2 equal to 0. And we have our range, and our range is 10, 20. So we gotta do for I in range. So here we will have to move the if condition part to the end. So the condition has to move to the end. Okay, so now let's print L and see if everything works. So we get 10 is even, 12 is even, but our odd number is missed out. We are interested in the odd number as well. So what do we do then? We can add the else part as well. So if we don't have the else part, then the pattern is going to be like this. But if we also need the else part, we will have to follow a pattern like this. So value, and then if condition, and after that we will have a else and then another value. So let's bring back our if statement in here, and let's add a else, and let's put our value for odd. Okay, so if I equal to 0, and then else, and this is like this. So value, which is this, and then we have our if condition, and then for everything else, this is the value. So that should do the trick for us. Let's check it. So we get 10 is even, 11 is odd, 12 is even, 13 is odd. Everything looks good now. So again, the pattern, if there is no else, is this. But if there is a else, then we have to go with this pattern, if condition else value. Good. Now let's change our range a little bit. Let's go from -5 to 5. So now if we do this, we get a value like this. But now let's say 0 is a special condition and I don't want 0 in my list. So that means I need a separate if condition. So what do? I'm going to add one more value to the top. So the pattern is going to be like this. We can just add a value if condition in the front as well. So value if condition and then else value if condition and else value loop. So there is no if condition in the end because we already put it in the front. So this is the pattern. So let's try to do it. I will just say is 0. And what is the condition for it? If I is equal to 0. Then we need an else. Then we need another value according to our pattern. Str is even if I mod 2 is 0. Else str is odd for I in range. So that should be enough. Let's check it. So we get odd, even, odd, even, odd, and then 0 is 0. 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd. So similarly, we can keep extending this into any number of if conditions. So, and one last example we're going to see is how to make a list comprehension for matrix. Let's say I want to make a list of lists, and inside this I want to see a bunch of zeros, let's say 3 zeros, something like a tic-tac-toe table where there are 9 positions. So what we can do here is we can open this and we open another one and then we say 0 for in range 3, and this whole thing repeats for in range 3. So now if I print L, I should get a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is a list comprehension which is inside another list comprehension. Hopefully that was helpful. Sorry about that. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. We will meet again in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye world.